Hi, it's Karen with Living Our Dream Homestead, where today we are going to be making ground beef vegetable soup. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please click the button down below. If you've already subscribed, thank you very much. I don't know about you, when it's fall out and it gets cold, sometimes I just like a good soup, and a sandwich, and you're not making, say, an elaborate meal, but it still tastes good. So let's go ahead and start. First, we're going to go ahead and be on the stovetop. We are going to be using a Dutch oven today. Let's go. Okay, I have put in here a pound of ground beef, and I've got my heat on about medium. We are going to go ahead and completely brown the beef, and then we are going to drain it. Now that our ground beef is all browned and I have drained it, we are going to go ahead and add in 2 cans of they should be 14.5 ounces each of beef broth. I am using organic, but you do not have to use organic. And I'm going to measure out, so we're going to need about 29 ounces of beef broth. Next, we need to add in 2 cups of water. Now we are going to be adding in 128 ounces of diced tomatoes undrained. I'm actually using homemade, so I'll put that in now. And now I'm going to be adding 2 large carrots. I went ahead and peeled them first, and then I cut them. We'll add them right there. Next, we'll be adding in 2 medium onions sliced. I used yellow onions. Next, we'll be adding in 1 medium potato that has been peeled and cubed. And now we'll be adding in 1.5 cups of fresh green beans. Now I went ahead and blanched them first, and I can show you right here how to do that. First, we need to go ahead and take our fresh green beans, which I have already broke off the ends, and I have washed them in water. And now I'm going to go ahead and put a pot on the stove and get it boiling. We are going to take our green beans and we are going to put them in the boiling water, and we are going to boil it for 3 to 5 minutes. We are doing this to blanch the green beans, so that way they'll have a vibrant color in our ground beef vegetable soup. If we didn't blanch the green beans and we just put them in the soup, the green beans would end up turning a brown color. So let me go ahead and drop in these green beans here into our pot, and we are going to get this all boiling all over, and then I'll set the timer between about 3 to 5 minutes. Now that I've got my beans boiling, I've set my timer for 3 minutes. Well, it's been 3 minutes. We need to go ahead and turn off the stove. And now I'm going to go ahead and immediately get the beans out and put it into a bowl with ice water. So what we are doing is we are stopping the cooking process of the beans. Now I will let the beans sit in here a couple of minutes to stop the cooking process, and then I will go ahead and remove the beans from the ice cold water, and then they'll be ready to go into our vegetable soup. And now we're going to go ahead and add them to our pot. Our soup is looking absolutely delicious. And now we need to go ahead and add in 2 teaspoons of dried tarragon. Now, I've never used this spice before, so I'm hoping that my husband likes it. It's supposed to add a lot of flavor. And now we need to add in 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. I am using, this is the Costco brand. Now I'm going to be using a tablespoon of fresh minced parsley. This is actually parsley if you have never seen it before. And I'm going to go ahead and take off the leaves and kind of, use a knife and cut into them and get the tablespoon. When picking off your leaves from the parsley plant, make sure to pick the more bright, vibrant green ones. This one right here looks like it's actually dying, and it may not be that flavorful, so I'm definitely picking the ones that are, the most green. And again, you just want the leaf itself. We are not taking the stem. And now we need to add in half a teaspoon of salt. And now we need to add in 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper, ground. And now we need to bring our soup to a boil. Again, I am cooking the soup over medium heat. Now that our soup is boiling, I did turn up the heat to almost high. I'm going to go ahead and now reduce the heat, and I'm going to cover and simmer the soup for 30 minutes. I forgot to mention when we have it covered for about 30 minutes to stir occasionally. Now that the soup has simmered about 40 minutes, that was to make sure the vegetables were tender, we are going to be adding in 3/4 cup of cooked macaroni. Now I just cooked my macaroni however the package said to cook it, and I'm going to go ahead and add the macaroni now, and we are going to heat it through. Make sure that you're stirring the macaroni into your soup. And now we are going to go ahead and heat it through. That might take another about maybe 10 minutes, I would say, or it may be a little bit longer. Soup is all done. I'll go ahead and get a bowl and see if my husband likes it. Okay, my husband's going to go ahead and try the soup. I'm sorry about the noise in the back. We're counting green beans.
It's sure tastier than the canned soup that you get.
Well, that's a good thing. Here, I just want to show you the soup up close. It looks delicious. And again, it made 2 bowls. These are pretty darn big bowls. Well, I showed you up close what the soup looks like, and my husband loved the soup. But what are we going to do with all this soup? It's an awful lot of soup. Unless we had a big, huge gathering to use it for, we're going to be having it for months. But you know what? That's okay with me because I can freeze it. And I'm going to freeze it so I don't have to cook for the next couple of months. Just maybe at least one day a week I won't have to actually cook. I could just take it out and thaw it. So I'm going to go ahead and freeze my soup into a canning jar. Now this is a special canning jar. This is for freezing. So this one you can actually can in it or freeze. So you definitely need that one, because if you just used a regular canning jar and put it in your freezer, you would have probably broken glass and frozen soup everywhere, and that would not be a good thing. Now, if you don't want to freeze in a glass jar, you can go ahead and freeze in some special containers. And these containers, these are plastic, and these came from Amazon. I've got this size here, and then I've got some bigger ones as well. And before you freeze your soup, you need to go ahead and let it cool to almost room temperature, and then you can go ahead and freeze it. I will go ahead and leave the recipe down in the description. Well, thank you for watching. This was Karen with Living Our Dream Homestead. I hope you have a good day.